Ah, monkeys. An incredible species, really. Alike us in so many ways, but different in their own. Man, since the dawn of evolution, we've been wondering where these monkeys came from. Or, better yet, if we came from them. Man, they are so cool. I've always loved them since I was a little kid. And what I would love more than anything is to actually be immersed in the experience of being a monkey. Get inside their heads. What do they think? What do they feel? And if, more importantly, do they know Kung Fu? Black Myth Wukong. This game goes kinda hard, in every single aspect to be specific. Like, from the combat, to the mechanics, to the upgrades, to the places that we can go, to the boss fights, the music, the voice acting. They didn't miss on this one. I mean, maybe a little bit of the performance, but we'll get into that later. This game, other than a little bit of the problems that I've had with it, just a couple small things like graphical issues and performance issues, like, this game scratches all the itch that most Souls-like players, enjoy. Now, people will say that it's not a Souls-like, but I mean, in my opinion, if you give me a bonfire, respawning enemies, and a combat mechanic so vast and so large that it could rival even Elden Ring, I would say it's kind of a Souls-like. Not exactly, but I mean, it's a start. If I'm gonna be honest, this game really does remind me of the Star Wars Jedi series, mixed in with a little bit of Wolong Fallen Dynasty and some Sekiro. But I mean, it really tries to be its own thing with this transformation system where you can beat certain bosses and certain enemies and then be able to transform into them. And they really let you step into the shoes of an aspiring young monkey who wants to go and collect all of the relics of Wukong, bring them back together, and reform Wukong to bring him back. Along the way, you are going to be constantly running into NPCs and characters who are going to help you along the way. And they're going to be giving you all sorts of abilities to use to expand your arsenal and be able to take on harder and harder enemies. And by the end of the game, you'll feel like such a badass with all these different abilities. You can turn rock solid to parry incoming attacks. You'll be able to duplicate yourself into about 6 or 7 of these monkeys who can all use your abilities uh, for a limited time, and they'll all just jump your opponents. You can use an ability where you can summon a ring of fire, freeze your enemies in place. Like I said, transform into all these different types of bosses and enemies, upgrade your armor and your staff and your transformations as well. Unlock a multitude of different stances for your staff and other things that could be related to your abilities that I just said. Not only is there a lot to do in terms of combat, a lot to upgrade, a lot of stuff there, but there's also a lot to fight. There are so many different enemy types in the game. Each zone that you go to has their own specific array of enemies, and there are over 100 different boss fights. And I'm not talking reskinned boss fights where you'll run into the same guy every 5 minutes. I'm talking literally 100 different boss fights. They go from demons to human-like characters to animal creatures with all different move sets and all different like vibes, and oh my god, it's just so fun to fight a boss and then you turn around the next corner and then you fight another boss, and each time you either get them as a transformation or you get certain materials for you to craft with, and each time you fight them you just feel like a badass just plowing through boss after boss until you get to the final boss of the area where you're like, all right, dude, I've already killed all your like mini bosses and your minions. Now it's time for the real fight. Man, it's so fun. There are also so many secret areas. I believe each zone has one secret area where you have to do a specific thing, where you go into another arena to fight an even bigger boss, like to reward you for going your extra way. There are a bunch of side quests with a bunch of NPCs. They could either be merchants or they could help you out in some way. Like I know there's this one NPC in the first area that'll help you upgrade your gourds. In the second area, I believe there's one that will make medicines for you. At first glance, this world that you're going to be fighting in might not seem as expansive as I am relaying to you right now. There's a lot of invisible walls and stuff, but once you actually start looking further into the maps and you do what I did, you look up guides on how to get to these secret areas and how to do them. I would have never gotten it on my first playthrough, and in fact, I didn't. There's a lot of content here, guys. I mean, way more than I was expecting. The game is pretty long, and if you want all of the secret endings that the game can give to you, you have to play again and again. And there's a ever expanding upgrade system, like I just said, where you'll never really run out of points. I believe the max level in this game is like 300 and something, and you're going to be needing to use all of these points. Honestly, it's worth playing again and again. I'm on my second playthrough right now, and I'm still having a lot of fun upgrading my character and getting all the cool armors and the cool staffs. Man, it's just so fun. The game is so fun. It is such a breath of fresh air from the modern online AAA live service games that we've been normally getting. And now it's time to go back to single player action RPG badassery. I mean, in what world did you think that in any capacity we would be playing as a game where you play as Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, and just battle your way through ancient China in this alternate world where everybody is basically like some sort of like animal creature. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't really know a whole lot about Wukong's backstory or the lore of all this stuff. I mean, they throw a lot of lore at you, and this game really expects you to read up on your Chinese mythology, and that's something that I really didn't do, but I respect it. I respect the attention to detail because I know everything that was put into this game was made out of love and passion for the character and the mythology. It is so great. This is by no means a review. I just really like this game. I wanted to tell you guys how much I like this game, and I think you should go buy it. There's not many games like this anymore, and we need to support the ones that are here. So, this is Shadow Ninja. I'll be signing off for you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.